What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, the Part 1 physical infrastructure package, as well as Part 2, the next stimulus package that they're currently working on both right now and possibly passing both together, but yet separately. Yeah, I understand. They're going to pass both together yet separately. Yeah. I get it. They're working on both of those right now. We'll be discussing that as well as everything going on in America and Washington, D.C. President Biden is currently going under some controversy right now for what he said here recently. Check this out. Let me know your thoughts on this.
Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to get help to the remaining people protected from the virus.
So yeah, there's a lot of controversy over what President Biden says about the government going door to door to ask if you're vaccinated or see if you're vaccinated. Let me know your thoughts on this. Here's a little more information. Biden introduces door-to-door vaccination effort. President Biden announced Tuesday that his administration would step up efforts to get Americans vaccinated against COVID-19 with a new program that would, quote, go door to door, literally knocking on doors, end quote, urging people to get the shots. During his remarks, the president said that, quote, we need to go community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to encourage vaccination. Those knocking on doors will offer information about the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine. Yeah, so a lot of controversy over this. A lot of people are literally worried that the government is going to have people going door to door asking if they're vaccinated, asking them their personal information, asking them their medical information, whether or not they've been vaccinated. And the question is, will we see this happen? Will this actually happen? A lot of people are questioning this because some people are saying that this is actually, some people are saying this is not the government's business. They can't ask us this. It's not the government's business. But some people are saying this is actually the government's business because they've spent billions or even trillions of dollars of fighting off this pandemic. So some people on the other side of the coin would be, some people are saying this is actually the government's business. They've spent billions and trillions of dollars combating this pandemic, these stimulus packages, all these different unemployment packages, stimulus packages, vaccine packages, all this money to combat this pandemic and this vaccine and this virus. So some could, argue that this is literally the government's business. Yeah, so it remains to be seen if we will see the government actually do this, physically do this. Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think this should happen? Do you think this will happen? This will be a very interesting thing to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see your comments too, because I know that this is a very, very controversial issue. Next up, President Biden is kind of on the campaign trail a little bit, talking about the human infrastructure, or Part 2, the next stimulus package. Here's a little bit of him talking about that.
There's a lot more the agreement's going to do to encourage the physical and ensure the physical infrastructure lays the foundation for a strong and durable and sustainable competitive economy. But what I want to talk about today is the human infrastructure. It's essential to that foundation as well. To truly win the 21st century and once again lead the world, to truly build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, to truly deal everybody in this time, we need to invest in our people. We need to invest in our people. That's why, in addition to the bipartisan infrastructure agreement that I believe we're going to get done, I'm here to make a case for the second critical part of my domestic agenda. It's a combination of parts of my American Jobs Plan that were essential and not included in the bipartisan infrastructure plan, as well as my American Families Plan. In Washington, they call it a reconciliation bill. That's a fancy way of saying, with a filibuster that our friends on the other side use constantly, more than ever been used in history. It means you got to get 60 votes to get anything done. We're a 50-50 Senate with a vice president who happens to be a Democrat. And back in the campaign, I said we're going to build back and we're going to build back better. We can't just build back, we got to build back better. And today I want to outline some of the key pieces of this Build Back Better agenda and what's it going to do for the people of Illinois and the people of the United States. It's about a country, once again, that inspires and leads the world, the opportunities we provide, the cures we discover, the technologies we pioneer, and industries we create. And the nation that leads the world in combating the existential threat of climate change.
What's interesting there is when he talks about the filibuster and how they're going to pass this next stimulus package through the reconciliation process. The average American probably has no idea what he's even talking about there, but probably the majority of you guys watching this channel probably know exactly what he's talking about there because we talk about it here on this channel every day. And I'm very proud to say that a lot of you guys on this channel understand exactly what that is because yeah, we've learned that along the way here on this channel. So yeah, I mean, if you stop the average person on the street and said, "Hey, do you know about this reconciliation process going on here with this next stimulus package?" They'd probably be like, "What next stimulus package? The American Families Plan? What?" And they would have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, they'd be like, "Oh wow, really?" Yeah, but it's very interesting the kind of process that they go through here with this next package. But there's actually a lot of support kind of building up here between actually both groups, at least for part one of this next package. We actually have both business and labor groups, which are pretty much opposite end of the spectrums, both endorsing the parts one, the physical infrastructure bill, which both labor groups and business groups pretty much never agree. That's like unions and employees. Like you almost never see like the two opposite ends of the spectrum agreeing. Well, they're both kind of backing this physical infrastructure package. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the AFL-CIO, and a group of other prominent business groups on Thursday endorsed the $1.2 trillion 8-year bipartisan infrastructure framework endorsed by President Biden and a group of Senate moderates. The joint endorsement by business and labor groups that are often opponents in the political arena is a major boost for Senator Rob Portman, a Republican from Ohio, and Kirsten Sinema, a Democrat from Arizona, saying, quote, "We urge Congress to turn this framework into legislation that will be signed into law, and our organizations are committed to helping see this cross the finish line. And don't let partisan differences get in the way of action. Pass significant, meaningful infrastructure legislation now." Also, new information from the Census Bureau says that the American Rescue Plan passed in March, which included $1,400 stimulus payments for most Americans, as well as other assistance to struggling households, still has 20 million adults living in households that does not get enough to eat, and 11.5 million adult renters are behind on rent still to this day, leaving that there is still much assistance left to be had. Basically, there's 20 million adults that do not have enough to eat right now, and 11.5 million adult renters are behind on rent still to this day. And these high rate of hardships as well as difficulty getting enough food are the type of reports and data that congressmen and congresswomen look at when they're deciding what type of stimulus they should pass when it comes to the time. Should they pass more stimulus checks? Should they extend the SNAP, WIC, and pandemic EBT? Should they pass more mortgage and rental assistance? And what should they do when the time comes? And this just goes to show that there is still a large percentage of the population really struggling. We also really have a lot of data coming out right now that the inflation that is kind of running rampant, at least temporarily, as we're somewhat coming out of the economic recession very slowly. As we come out of this recession, inflation is somewhat normal. As you come out of a recession, you tend to see inflation because you're coming out of the low parts of the recession. Inflation kind of, you come out and you see inflation. That is somewhat normal. We've seen that in 2008, 2009 as well. I could see how some people would argue why inflation's happening, but inflation is somewhat normal when you come out of a recession because, things are starting to go up, so inflation comes up. But inflation does disproportionately hurt the poor because they have less money to spend. So when, gas costs more, food costs more, and, basic necessities cost more, it hurts people that have less money the most. And one of the other things that's really hurting the most right now is the almost $50 billion that was passed from the third stimulus check package for mortgage assistance and renter assistance. Only 4% of that money has gone out right now. I talk about this occasionally on our show. There's $50 billion with a B that was passed from the third stimulus check package, and only 4% of it has gone out. So I have had a lot of people that said that they got $5,000, $10,000, or even more in mortgage and rental assistance on our show in the past. But I've had a lot of comments from people that said they applied, they haven't heard anything back, or they got denied because the rules were too strict. And the problem is as you can see here, only 4% of that money has gone out because people are on waiting lists or the rules were too strict. And this is kind of one of the big problems is that a lot of people that really need the assistance, well, look at this. Only 4% of the money has gone out. There's billions and billions and billions of dollars of mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, and utility assistance that's available from the third stimulus check package. But these states just haven't sent the money out. It just blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. A lot of these states, cities, ah, it's just so it absolutely makes me mad. Just it really makes me mad. These states are sitting on billions of dollars, and they're like sitting on their thumbs basically. They don't know what to do with the money, and they've had this money for months, and they're like, gee, yeah, we're gonna send it out. Well, we promise we're gonna send it out. And meanwhile, people are getting evicted, people are starving, people are going homeless, and they're like, yeah, we promise we're gonna send the money out. Okay, when do you plan on doing that? And now, don't get me wrong. I've seen you guys' comments, hundreds or even thousands of them saying, "Yeah, I got rent assistance, I got mortgage assistance." I've seen thousands of you guys' comments saying, "I got that emergency broadband assistance, $50 per month for your internet." That's awesome, right? I want to help as many people as possible. But when I see that there's like $48 billion available for rent assistance and mortgage assistance still available from the third stimulus check package, and there could be more in the next package. Send it out. Send it out. It's money that's passed. Send it out. Like, what are we doing here? $48 billion. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I've seen your guys' comments like, yeah, I applied for rent assistance 3 months ago. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. Oh my goodness. What are we doing? I'll link you to a video I just did about mortgage assistance, rental assistance, and state stimulus checks that are going out. Some states are considering using their own state stimulus money because there's $350 billion that are going out in addition to the $50 billion that's just for mortgage assistance and rental assistance. There's an additional $350 billion going out to states, cities, and counties. So there's like two different buckets of money there. So yeah, and that just shows you how slow some of these states are. California has this largest state stimulus check of $600. They just approved the second round of the Golden State stimulus check. Hopefully, that's going to start going out in July, up to people making $75,000. Good for California. New Jersey has one going out to about three quarters of a million people. $500 for New Jersey. Just to show you the scale of that, right? New Jersey's less than 1 million people. California is like 26 or 27 million people. So that's like New Jersey less than a million people, California 27 million people. People are like, "Why do you always talk about the California one?" Cuz look at how big it is. It's 27 million people. The New Jersey one is less than 1 million. So like when we talk about the California one, it's like you can throw like 10 states in there and it would cover the entire state program of 10 different states because there's so many people in California. So good for California. Let's see more states passing state stimulus checks like the California $600 state stimulus check and $500 more if you have children. You can get an $1,100 state stimulus check from California. They just passed their second round of it. So if the first round was for people up to $30,000, the second round goes to people making up to $75,000 and an additional $500 if you have children for a total of $1,100. Let's see more of that. I think that we're going to, but again, these states are very, very slow. Do you think the IRS is slow? States are just as slow. So yeah, I think that over the next weeks or months, we're going to see a lot more states that finally figure out what to do with this money. And they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we have billions of dollars with a B that we're deciding what to do with this money. And oh, yeah, maybe we should help out our people with this money. That's right. There's a clause in the third stimulus check that says we have to help out our people with this money and we have to spend a certain amount of this money on our people. By the way, the majority of these states are getting only half their money up front, and then they will be getting another allotment of the second half of their money later on after they prove to the federal government how they spent this money. So, yeah, in fact, your state might get half their money up front, spend it in certain ways, and then later on this year, they might get the second half of this money and then send out a stimulus check to the state or a rent assistance program later on this year. So, I mean, honestly, we could have stimulus programs in your particular state way later on this year, like December. Okay, so yeah, a lot of these programs, a lot of these states are going to be getting their money in halves. So halvesies, yeah. So they literally could be on December, November this year as they get their money in halves. So I'll keep you up to date as all these different programs come out. But yeah, hopefully we see more of these. This next stimulus package when they get around. I can't give you a date. I get people all the time. When are they voting? I would tell you when they're voting if I knew. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer don't even know when they're voting. So I can't give you a date because they don't even know when they're voting. I will give you a date when I know a date. But if I gave you a date, I'd be lying because I would just be making up a date out of thin air. So when I see a date, I will tell you guys a date, but we don't know a date. So I don't want to just make things up. I will tell you as soon as I know. But we're moving in that direction. The next thing we're going to be doing is figuring out what is in the next stimulus package because really they're going to probably be voting on the physical infrastructure package first. But that's like the first step. And then we're going to decide what's in the stimulus package. That's kind of the more exciting step. And if they're going to pass them together, because remember, they're kind of tied together with a shoestring. So picture a shoestring with a nice little bow because Nancy Pelosi says they're going to kind of need to be passed together. So I will keep you up to date with everything. And I'll link you to that video on the state, city, and county and mortgage and rental assistance and how to apply. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. Remember, the new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also share this video with your friends and family so that they don't miss out on these different stimulus check programs. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video over here is my newest video about state stimulus checks, county stimulus checks, and mortgage and rental assistance programs. So click on this video next if you haven't yet. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.